Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining our webinar. I'm going to hold off for maybe another 10, 20 seconds to wait for people to continue to log in, and we'll be kicking off this Friday afternoon webinar, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you all for joining us today. This is our series 8 of our module on how to continue running your business in a COVID virus environment. We have a great panel here today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sal Ayala with Unico Business Solutions, as well as I'm also on the board of the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We put this together, and our objective every week is to bring to you education, provide resources, exchange ideas, and provide solutions. So please be interactive with our panel. If you have questions, use our Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. We have very talented individuals with a wealth of knowledge that can provide answers for you. Whatever answers we can't answer here, we definitely commit to providing those for you. So with that, we'll start today's webinar. I'll go into our coronavirus creed. We must not fish in the same dry pond. We must not quit. We must reinvent ourselves. We must double down on marketing. That's my favorite. In good times, people want to advertise. In bad times, they have to. So keep that in mind, guys. Make sure you get your name out there. So today's webinar agenda is gonna be Tammy Martin Riles is gonna deliver our health and wellness tip of the week. Investment strategy with Mr. William Brown in an uncertain market. He's going to be bringing a wealth of information to us on retirement. He's a retirement annuity specialist. And then Carmen will help moderate today's webinar. Also, we have our business owner highlight, Mr. Gary Garwell. He brings, again, world of experience in many different areas, so I'll let him speak on that, but we're excited to have him. We thank him for being on today's panel. In addition, we're going to have our chamber highlight, which is the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Joe Ramos, who is the executive director there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Carmen Lainez, our off-legal counsel. She's amazing. Thank you, Carmen, for everything that you do for our community and everything you do for us as well. And I'll let you take it over.
My pleasure. Thank you, Sal, so much for this opportunity. I'm going to be moderating throughout. Make sure that you're using the question and answer box. So if you have any questions for our panelists, I'm going to do the best that I can to make sure that they address the questions. We have amazing panelists, so please take advantage of all their knowledge and feel free to ask questions.
So are we ready for me? Great. Tammy Martin Riles. I am your IE vegan princess. Well, I guess I'm the world's vegan princess as far as I'm concerned, but here to bring you the knowledge of the day. Now, you guys, we're starting off with health and wellness because, you know, here's the deal. And I want to talk about things that people are totally neglecting. Right now, we're on this webinar for a reason. We're on this webinar because so many of us are unprepared. And so this is a way to how to keep track and how to keep your business going, but also we are unprepared when it comes to our bodies and health, okay? Let's be real here. People are dying from this virus. Why are they dying? Because the virus attacks people with a low immune system. That means preconditions That means people who don't have it together, you suffering from high blood pressure, all of the stuff that's out there. So if you're trying to run your business and you caught off guard and your body is caught off guard, you are the business. So that means that if your body ain't right, you're not right. All right. So again, I'm going to talk about diet today, not going on a diet, but what does your diet look like? Because if there's any time to get your diet together, it is now. Because what you put in is the product of what you're going to get out. So if you know that your stuff not right, are we going to wait until the next virus? Are we going to wait until the next pandemic come around? No. So we have to take note of this, and this is something that we can learn from COVID-19. Get your stuff right. So the first thing I want to talk about, again, this virus preys on the low immune system, pre-existing disorders. And if you're taking any kind of medication, you got a disorder, okay? So what I want to talk about today is how we can get our diets right so we can build up our immune system. So the first thing that we need to do is let's avoid processed foods. I see the lines in all of these fast foods. This is not the solution. Business people are up all night working, and we're gobbling down junk. We're drinking, we're pouring caffeine down. This is the time we need to avoid all of that. So we got to avoid fast foods as much as possible. That includes canned goods. That includes anything that is overly processed. If you're reading the labels and only one or two, if you have 50 ingredients in there, it's processed. Okay? So if you're looking at something that has one or two things, you're probably good. So you want to be focused on eating more whole foods, things that are high in antioxidants, like your fruit, your berry, your kales, your fresh produce. That's the stuff that should be empty in the grocery store, not all the meats. We got to leave that stuff alone, okay? We have to stay away, I'm going to say this again, from fast foods. If I go down the street and find another Cane's wrapped around the building, we got a problem here, okay? Stay away from milk products. They call mucus buildup. I just say stay away from dairy, period. And this is what I want to say. Stop worrying about what the kids have to eat. They don't have money. They're going to eat whatever you provide. You're the one. Just like you're teaching them to be entrepreneurs, then you're going to be teaching them how to change their life around and be healthy. I know I look a little bright there. So remember, let's put more fruit in. Let's deal with more ancient grain wheats. Let's stay away from processed and stay away from the caffeine. Let's stay away from the drinking. So that's what I have to say today, that if you want to get started the right way, because your business is not the first, you are the first. And this is a virus. So one thing we can learn, if our business is not in check, and we're trying to get it in check now, get your body in check, get your health in check, because we don't want to die. We want to live. And that's from your vegan princess, Tammy Martin Riles.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Can you let our attendees know if they wanted to recipes or just some of the smoothies that you make, where they can go to your website?
Well, they can go to getrawwithtammy.com. I'm all over social media, on Facebook, Tammy Martin Riles, or Get Raw with Tammy on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I think Twitter. So on both Tammy Martin Riles and Get Raw with Tammy. They can inbox me. I can help them. If they have any preconditions, I'm going to help you get off the medications. But this is real, you guys. If you can't get your body straight and you're trying to get your business straight, that's like, what is that? Is that an oxymoron? That's like putting the cart before the horse. Like, let's be real. We got to get ourselves together.
And Tammy, can you just let us know how you have this background as a nutritionist? Are you certified? How did you get this knowledge of being the vegan princess?
Well, I'm not a nutritionist, but I do. I have a biology degree, and I'm a chemistry minor. And yes, I do teach science, but I've studied it for many years. I studied the different herbs And I pretty much know the fallacies out there that is causing the sickness, and it has us on this complete cycle. So it is my job to not only educate the world, but to get everybody off of chemicals and teaching them the right foods to eat, as far as foods that were naturally produced in the world and not man-made.
That's great.
That's wonderful.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Thank you very much. Great
You're
information,
welcome.
and you make me feel guilty every time you come on here. All the stuff that I'm not supposed to be eating. So
okay,
I'll work on it.
Great.
Thank you so much. Okay,
All
let's
right.
go on to our headline panelists today. So today we have a very special guest, William Brown, retirement and annuity specialist. He's going to be talking on investment strategies in an uncertain market. So just a little brief bio on Will. Graduated from Morgan Stanley Dean Witter as a licensed stockbroker, earning the following licenses: Series 7, Series 31, Series 63, Series 65, Life, Health and Annuities, Broker of the Year 2002, 2003 Arrowhead Credit Union Partner of the Year, New York Life Insurance Company. So again, very, very, very vast knowledge in the investment arena, and we're very fortunate to have Will here with us today. So Will, please introduce yourself and take it away.
Yes, thank you very much, Sal, and the rest of the panelists and the group out there listening to us. While we bring you some very important information about your investment strategies, especially in an uncertain market. Well, you know how the market right now has been fluctuating. It's almost like a roller coaster, up and down, teeter-tottering like something in a playground. So what I want to focus on before I get to the slide is your safety. Safety, your guarantees, protections, protection against market losses, growth, income, and perhaps a simple strategy that you can use. Practically anyone has no age limit here. Let's talk a little bit about this CARES Act. I really want to focus on that because recently the government has implemented the CARES Act. That's the Corona Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, called CARES. Now, it may be a problem for some small businesses, but you contact us, we'll be able to find out if you qualify or not. And individuals don't qualify at all. So you have to have what they call a retirement plan. Okay. CARES establishes new exceptions to allow people affected by the COVID-19 pandemic to tap into their IRAs and 401k accounts, whether through a loan or early distribution. If your business is suffering adverse losses, financial effects from this virus, COVID-19 pandemic, the stimulus bill provides greater latitude for your retirement. What do they mean by that? Prior to this pandemic, if you wanted to tap into your 401k, you had to take a loan out. If you took a distribution before you were age 59 and a half, you were taxed and penalized. And that penalty on the federal level was as high as, well, it was at least, it's 10%. It's 10%. So there are some guarantees here and some relief here for. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Now, before the CARES Act, you were only allowed to tap into your 401k with a loan provision up to $50,000. Now, since the CARES Act, what they've done, they've allowed you to take up to $100,000 from your 401k. And the great news about that is that you will not be penalized. You don't have to worry about the 10%, even if you are under age 59 and a half, okay? Guidelines state that you must have suffered adverse financial consequences from the pandemic. Let's go to the next slide. Now, what do we mean by that? If you or your spouse or dependent child has been diagnosed with COVID-19, if you are in an area subject to quarantine, if you had to close your business or reduce your hours, you may qualify. If you've been unable to work due to child care issues, or if you or your spouse, if you've been laid off or you had to suffer reduced hours, then you can qualify for this relief package. Or this relief rather. Next slide, please. Okay. CARES creates a penalty-free early distribution rule similar to those with adverse consequences guidelines. 401k or IRA if under the age of 59 and a half. All retirement accounts are included. That means not only the 401k, if you have a 457 or 403b, IRAs, Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs, and simple IRAs. Now, if you have these plans, you know, most of us know about 401ks because that's typical in most workplaces. But if you're working for the government, you may have a 457 deferred comp plan. If you're a teacher or you work for a nonprofit organization, you may have a 403 plan. A lot of us have IRAs. You know, you may have transferred from one job to another and rolled your 401k into an IRA, whether that be a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. SEP IRAs and simple IRAs, they're primarily for business users. Now, you'll be taxed on these funds, so we cannot escape those taxes. Government will get their taxes, but the greatest thing is that you won't have to worry about paying a 10% penalty. And you can think about that. If you have $100,000, 10%, that's 10 grand, right? Then think about having to pay taxes on top of that. Okay, I would advise that you stay in touch with us so we can give you better information or more additional information on that. Okay, now spread the tax over 3 years as opposed. Now, this is one great thing. You can spread the tax over 3 years so you don't have to worry about taking that hit all at once as opposed to 1 year. And you might do so at this state, and it will also help you to stay in a lower tax bracket. It's not only about making money. It's not only about keeping your money or being able to use it when you need to, but you also want to lower your taxes because guess what? That's still your money and that's real money. Next slide, please. Okay. I'd like for you to schedule a free consultation to determine if this strategy is right for you. And speaking of the strategy, my partner, Will Hidalgo, and I, he's off camera today, but we came up with this several years ago on how, even before this pandemic hit us, right? Several years ago, we were thinking about, because we were all investment strategists, not only that, with life insurance strategists as well. And we thought about a plan. What if you had an opportunity to, now those of you who may not want to take a distribution, but you're really concerned about what the market is doing to your retirement or your investments, what can you do about it? Well, what if I were to tell you that there are some safe ways that you can protect your plan right now? You can protect your income. You can protect your savings. You can protect your investments with no downside losses guaranteed. You know, somebody says, "Oh, that sounds too good to be true." Well, it happens to be true. There are some plans that you can protect your investment, and no matter what the market does, you don't have to worry about any downside consequences. You will not ever lose your principal, guaranteed. Now, if you took this strategy and you combine that with a permanent life insurance policy, we think that is a very simple strategy. Yes, it's something that you can do, and you don't have to be, you can sleep at night. You don't have to worry about losing your money ever. We do have some strategies in mind for that, whether you have money in a 401k, 403b, 457 deferred comp. You could also have maybe an annuity or money in a money market in a bank, or maybe a CD. Okay, and you know right now the CDs aren't paying anything. They haven't been for several years. But we do have some strategies for you, not only to grow your income, but protect your income and protect your family.
Very good.
Thank you so much. Well, I think that's great information. I think a lot of us don't take a lot of the things that you said in consideration. We have a question from Jose Castaneda. He asked, what about pension withdrawal from former employer, for example, Disney? So if it's somebody that you're not currently working for, how does that work?
Oh, great question. You do a couple of things. If you have a pension, and you can roll that over, and since and even if you are working for a company right now and you have a pension, this CARES Act will allow you to take a distribution from an existing pension plan, even though you're working there. But it's even easier if you have left that employer altogether. And my advice to you is that you want to get that money out of there as soon as possible. put it into a protected account that you can manage, a protection account that you will not lose because you don't know what's happening there. I always tell people, never leave your money at a job if you're no longer there. It's the same thing as walking out of the house with your door wide open. You don't know what's going to happen when you get back. So the point is, yes, you can take it out now. You can from a former employee, and with this new CARES Act, with an existing employer.
Thank you so much, Will. And if any of our attendees have further questions, they can call you directly at this number for a consultation because it may be a little complicated, especially if it's a former employer, correct?
If there's a former employer, no, it's actually easier.
Oh.
It's actually easier because it's just a matter of doing a rollover. Because keep in mind, there's a difference between a rollover and a straight out distribution. A rollover, you can roll it over, and which will minimize your tax exposure. As a matter of fact, you can roll it over, and you don't have to worry about paying those taxes until you take that money out. Okay. But if you take out a straight out distribution, you will be taxed on every dime because the money has never been taxed, you see. So either way, we can work that out for you.
So quick question for you, Will. There's a lot of people right now that are panicking because of what's happening in the stock market, right? It's obviously crashed. Now, what would your advice be to somebody? I mean, I know you're no longer, I'm not sure if you're still a stockbroker, but would it be a smart thing to do for you to withdraw your money right now, protect it in another account like you described until the market starts coming back? If you're not going to use the money, like you said, it would be considered a rollover. There would be no tax consequence, correct?
Yes. Oh, great question. As a matter of fact, there are some plans right now that you can roll. What I would do, if you are in a vulnerable position, say for instance, if you have a mutual fund or you're in stocks, you are vulnerable right now. You're vulnerable. I'll give you a quick story. I remember when the market crashed back in 2008. You guys remember that? I had an employer that lost $500,000, and it took him 5 years to get it back. So what I'm saying, if you are in a position right now with mutual funds or stocks, I would take that money and put it into a plan that we may offer you that will stop the bleeding. It will stop it cold right there. And you don't have to worry about timing it because you can put it in now. When the market goes up, you automatically get it. If the market goes down, you do not suffer the downside risk. You will never ever, in other words, if you have $100,000 right now and you roll into one of these plans, you will never lose that principal. And it also has a lock-in feature that each year any gains are automatically locked in. So no, my strategy would be put it in an account that we may suggest for you right now. And when the market goes up, you don't have to worry about calling your broker and says, "Okay, is it time to move?" Okay, it automatically goes up. It will go up for you. But when it goes down, you do not suffer the risk. And some of these now have no fees. Many of you out there have 401ks out there now. You are paying fees. If you have stocks, you are paying fees. If you have mutual funds, you are paying fees. A lot of these accounts that we're talking about have no fees at all.
Got it. So it sounds like we got to protect our money right now. So
protect it right now, and we have solid solutions for you right now to protect your money.
Very good, very good. So thank you so much for that, Will, and we will definitely keep that information in mind. And anybody out there that wants to reach out to Will, feel free to schedule a consultation, and we'll schedule the appointment with Will directly. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm excited to introduce our next panelist, who is our chamber partner, Joe Ramos, who is the executive director of the chamber. Doing a great job for the chamber. Excited to be running the chamber, and we're glad you're here, Joe, and enlighten us on what's going on with the chamber.
Caught me off guard there, so I thought I was third in row there. So, but yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for all the panelists for having me as a guest here. I've been watching you throughout these modules. I think you're on module 8 now.
Yes.
And one of the key things that you keep recognizing in these modules is the ability to pivot as a business. The ability to change course, and that's what we're trying to do as a chamber right now. One of the main things that we've really been trying to do is make sure we get as much information out there as we can to our membership. With that in mind, with Sal's help and his great team at Unico, we've redesigned our entire website to put as much information as we can on COVID-19 resources from a business standpoint and a health standpoint, to make sure that we get that out to our membership. We've also developed new YouTube channels, new training videos, finding new ways to connect and to reach our members and our audience. One of the key things that we have been doing too that we really want to focus on is making sure that we get Spanish language information available through videos, anything from the city. We're working with city and county officials also to make sure that we get that in English and in Spanish, so we are small business owners that feel more comfortable speaking Spanish or getting their information in Spanish, they can relate better to that and make that available. As far as programs, things that we have coming up right now, one of the key things that we're very excited to announce is we have a webinar now. We've kind of gotten on the webinar train, and every Wednesday at 10 a.m. we have a Cafecito Wednesday now with the GRHCC. So that's a big project for us. We're really excited about it. Similar format, every week we have new panelists, new ideas. We're going to reach out to a lot of local leaders, a lot of other partner chambers to have them come online and, share information and make that information available to them. Registration is available through grhcc.com. So you can just head on over there. Registration is simple, quick, and easy. One of the other big programs that we're rolling out right now too is our 60-day free trial membership. We're excited to announce that. And the reason we're doing that is right now we realize that, sometimes finance right now for business is a concern. We want the business community to know that the chamber is here for them. And that's why we're offering this trial program. 60 days, it runs through the end of the month. So anybody that goes to grhcc.com under our membership tab, there's going to be a link there that says free trial membership. It'll be good for 60 days, no credit card required. And it gives you access to all of our resources, all of our training videos, all of our programs, and also to our board. We have a very large board that has vast backgrounds, a lot of connections, so we want to make sure that we put those opportunities out there.
That is awesome. One thing I would like to just mention real quick is that even though we're in this environment where we can't network in person, we need to take full advantage of the opportunities that are coming up online. I mean, it's no different to be in person now with via cameras. It's going to become a commonplace. More than anything, joining the chamber and simply getting that free membership is going to allow people to network and continue to refer business to each other, because that's ultimately our goal as chambers, right? Is to interact with each other and help each other out with business ideas and exchanging business, right?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up, Sal, because that's one of the things too that's key about this is when you do sign up for your free membership, to make sure to enter all your contact information, because we are going to be going live with the business-to-business directory very soon, business-to-business, chamber-to-chamber, so that way we can interact and find new ways to collaborate, to work together. We've collaborated with Tammy in the past in her chamber on a lot of different projects, so we're grateful to have her as a partner. And, we want to keep expanding that. We want to keep growing and make sure that we reach other people out there.
And Joe, just so that the can go on the website, if they have any promotional items or business ideas or website or something different that they're doing for their business, how can they connect with the chamber to get that information out to the membership?
Definitely. I would ask that you reach out to me directly, jramos@grhcc.com. If you can put that in the chat box, I'll put that in later. And with the free trial membership, that's the only thing that we do ask is we want your feedback. We want to know how we can change, how we can grow and adapt and be better serve our membership. As their business is changing, their needs are changing, and we need to recognize that change and grow with them. So like Carmen mentioned, jramos@grhcc.com, info@grhcc.com, either way. That'll come directly to me and we'll get you the information that you definitely need.
Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you for the amazing job. I'm a little biased because I'm the current chair of the GRHCC, but you've been doing an amazing job as an executive director. And thank you to Unico for allowing our chamber to continue doing business during this COVID time.
Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Sal.
All right, can we get to the next slide, please? Okay, so I'm excited to introduce our next panelist, Mr. Harry Garwell. He is the CEO of Trident Associates. He is one of our amazing partners and clients as well. He's got a world of experience in all kinds of different areas when it comes to procurement. I know he's doing something with the CARE Act as well, so I'll let him speak on all that. So Harry, you're up next. Thank you so much for joining us today, and please tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
All right, Sal. Thanks. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you very
okay,
well.
Perfect. Well, Sal, thanks for the opportunity to come online here with you. And I have to say, when I met you, gosh, it's almost been 9 months or so. And when I was introduced to Sal and Unico, I quickly realized that there were some things that I needed to do for my business in order for me to be able to go out there and do the marketing as we've been talking about, right? So one of the things that I wanted to do this morning or this afternoon now is just share a little background. And also there's two particular areas that I would like to share with you because these are really significant in our communities, right? So just as a background, my background is actually in manufacturing and defense contracting, aerospace. I started those companies up here in the Phoenix metro area. And then I ended up moving into city government for a little bit, which was a great learning experience because I understood, some of the financing mechanisms through HUD and housing and other, types of funding sources that are out there. And then finally, I ended up with, and Jose, I can relate to you, I ran the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for just over 6 years, and also ran the Minority Business Enterprise Center through the U.S. Department of Commerce for Pacific region here in Arizona. And then when I did leave the chamber, I got into healthcare. So I helped a friend of mine start up a medical family practice in underserved areas, which gave me a great insight into what the needs were in our communities, even more so than before when I was in manufacturing or nonprofit world. And then so in 2012, I launched Trident Associates in earnest, which I actually had founded in 2005 as an economic development organization that leverages various resources to assist private public organizations and to contribute to the growth of Arizona's economy. And as Sal and I were talking one day, I really realized that I was a natural entrepreneur. So it was really appropriate for me to go ahead and launch Trident and Associates in full earnest in 2012. And because of 20 years of executive and senior management positions involving private, public, and government organizations, we started providing executive coaching, strategic business administration, vision management, business development, fundraising, and more recently, we actually started to help clients responding to requests for proposals. So that's a pretty arduous, difficult process to go through if you've never been through it. And so, we provide that service as well. One of the things that I wanted to share with you today is a private-public partnership financing solution that we've come across. So one of the areas that we've been focusing on is mid-level housing. So these are really folks that are like teachers, first responders, right? Who make too much money for assisted living, but are really not very competitive in the market housing area. And so they've always been left out. So we currently have access to some funding, quite a bit actually, for mid-level housing, specifically to be built for teachers and first responders, workers, blue-collar workers, and what have you, so that they can be in their own place without having to go out and bunk up with, a roommate. And so the way that this really works is that it's 100% private capital financing, and it's an alternative for municipalities, nonprofit, for-profit entities with a BBB rating or better. And our associates have, various experiences with different asset types, including industries that come out from the public-private social sectors. And as a result of that, we've built a pretty good client base that includes developers, municipalities, government agencies, academic and health institutions, and very prominent nonprofit organizations throughout the country. And these are really structured to eliminate the high front-end costs associated with traditional financing structures, which is our solution for qualified entities, that they can either keep it on or off their balance sheet. And the great thing about it is that within 120 days, if the sponsor qualifies, 100% of the financing goes into the account, and they can start moving forward with it instead of having to go through the process of waiting 18 or 20 months, for example, with HUD to try to get some of those funds. This happens to turn around pretty quickly, and within 45 days before, when the shovel ready is when the funding gets dispersed. And it's done over a period of 30 years, the debt on it. So it's only during construction that interest is only paid. And then the lease payment starts, with a certificate of occupancy in year one. And then the escalator that's in there, which helps to keep the maintenance up, doesn't kick in until year two. And here's the really great news about that. Whoever the host sponsor is, at the end of that term, they end up owning the asset, 100%. So, if you built 120 unit multifamily housing for mid-level folks, at the end of that term, that asset belongs to you and it's in your portfolio. And this is really very rare to get to. So if anyone's interested in this type of a solution and other ones, including infrastructure, get in touch with me. I'll be happy to chat with you. Let me see. Yeah, that's 796-5191 is actually the telephone number, Sal. So we'll have to change that.
My apologies. Can you please repeat the correct number?
Yes, it's area code 602-796-5191.
Okay, 796-5191. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the chat. So it's 602
796
596
5191. And then
My
also, Sal, you can put my email address on there. That would be great.
Sure.
Okay. And then finally, just one other piece, and this is something because of where we're at right now. We've been helping tribal communities, government agencies, healthcare organizations to access personal protection equipment, specifically 3-ply masks, because those are civilian grade, and gloves. And this is going to be something that's going to be needed in the near future and into the longer term future, because even like, for example, school districts are opening up. Part of the CDC came out, with their recommendations that include having masks and gloves inside the schools. So if you need any of those types of, pieces of equipment, please contact me as well. Sal, again, thank you for the opportunity to be able to present Trin & Associates, and I'm looking forward to launching our website here pretty quickly.
Carrie, we have a question from Sarah Beatriz Mijares. She's asking, what kind of guarantee is required for nonprofits for this type of financial loan?
So with a nonprofit, we're looking for organizations that have a long track history and also have a good financial balance sheet that demonstrates that they have the abilities to, service this. And so, for example, there's a number in California, for example, a great nonprofit would be like a Teleco, or something similar to that, right? But also remember, it could be municipalities, it could be your county agencies. I'm working with county commissioners right now who are looking to build housing for their mid-level folks, and the first responders, or cities like I'm working with the city of Phoenix right now about having discussions building mid-level housing for their first responders. So they would qualify. So it's anybody that's got a BBB bond rating, which is pretty close to junk bonds, right? That have a long track history and demonstrate the good work they're doing in the community, and a good balance sheet. Those are the things that we're looking for. Again, we don't do private financing for private entities that will just flip, the structure or just build it and then try to, sell it off, which is fine. You can do that. But we're really looking for long-term partners in the communities that can benefit from this type of a resource.
Perfect.
I hope that answers the question, Carmen.
Yes. Thank you so much, Harry. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Harry. I think that one of the services that I think you offer that is a lot of value to a lot of small business owners that sometimes don't realize is that there's a lot of money out there from government agencies that you can access, not necessarily the money, but there's work for small businesses that is not being taken advantage of because it's just a very convoluted process. Like I know personally, I know I can go out and look for business, for marketing or whatever services I may want to offer. But I think the fact that you know how to write RFPs and you can really help businesses in that way, I think that's golden. I mean, I think that you can really push that to our audience and to our clients, because that's where people are hurting right now. And if you're able to help them get to that money, and I say money because they'll hire you, I think that's a lot of value right there.
No, absolutely, Sal. Just to give you an example, one of my clients is the only Latino-owned taxi company in Arizona, and we got her qualified to go out and be on an approved vendors list for the city, the county, and the state. And we had to put the RFPs, right, to get all those put into their system. And once we did, she's off and running. She's grown to about 50 cabs now. When she started off, she only had 10.
Wow, that's a great success story. That's a big win right there. So reach out to Harry, please. I'm sure he'll I know for sure he'll guide you in the right direction. If he can't provide the solution, he'll find you the right solution for you. So thank you again, Harry, for being on our panel today and providing us with some ideas and information on how we can all grow our businesses.
Very good. Thank you, Sal. Appreciate it.
Okay. So let's go back one. There we go. So again, I just want to go ahead and take the time to thank all the chamber members and partners, the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Pomona Chamber of Commerce, Inland Empire Chamber of Commerce, GRHCC, Black Chamber of Commerce, World's Best Connectors, High Desert Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Antelope Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, our good partners at Alliance of Multicultural Entrepreneurs. They're also putting on a webinar in a couple of weeks, so please, we'll have some information on our website as well about them, as well as the GRHCC holding their weekly Cafecito webinars. Latino Tax Pro, Tony couldn't be with us today. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks on some personal business, but he'll be back online here shortly. And then the Inland Empire Business Journal, always a great partner as well. So thank you all for that. And everybody else, please make sure that you continue to support our local chambers. They are what helps keep small business alive. That's where we need to be with small business, is the ones that are being ignored really by big government. I mean, I ultimately think that we have the solutions through the chambers to help each other out and help us come up with ideas and grow our businesses and stay alive right now in this crazy environment, especially certain non-essential businesses that are really taking a big hit, So again, any ideas that you guys may have, I know we were just talking with Carmen about one of her accounts, which is in the beauty, not the beauty salon industry, that's my sister being impacted, but the bridal industry, right? Where they're not able to, make dresses for quinceañeras and all that stuff. So again, we got to figure out ways to help all these businesses that need the help. So the more people that we can get on here that are able to exchange ideas and help out, right? That's really what it's all about. It'd be great. So thank you, Chambers, for all the work that you guys do. I think we're underappreciated because, we're all volunteers at the end of the day. So thank you so much. Moving on to our next slide. We basically reached our Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, Carmen, I'm not sure if you see any questions out there, but if not, any of the panelists have any questions, please feel free to come online and ask away.
So Sal, we do have a question from Don. I think a lot of business owners are experiencing this where they've now received their PPP loan and they're trying to bring back their employees so they can use a minimum of 75% for their payroll. But some employees do not want to return because they're receiving the $600 incentive in addition to the unemployment. Now, Don is asking, how can they bring back, use that money for payroll, but reduce the hours? So can they just bring them back? They still get the $600 plus the unemployment for the time that they're not working, kind of like a partial furlough kind of situation. And so Don, in essence, you can't reduce whatever they were making or we used for the numbers, you can't use or you can't reduce them by 25%. So as long as you're not reducing them by that, then they're good, so that it's still forgiven, and they will still receive. Dr. Farouk was on here a few weeks ago. He did explain that you will still, even if you're receiving $1 of unemployment, you'll still receive that incentive of $600, and plus whatever portion you're not working during that time. Does any of the other panelists have any more input for Don?
Harry, not sure if you want to chime in on that. I know you've been working on the PPP loan program as well.
Yeah, so I have, Sal, and in fact, you know, my client that I was telling about the Spanish language taxi cab, we got her qualified, and she was able to get the funding. So I would say, and this is what I suggested to Loreto when she applied, is that, you know, make sure that if you get the funding, mark the calendar when you first spend it. And then from that point on, when you first get it, because from that point on, you got 8 weeks, right? And at the end of that period, 8 weeks and 1 day, you should go in and submit for the loan forgiveness part of it, right? But it really comes down to just a couple of really simple pieces. And that is, if you have a good QuickBooks or some kind of an accounting system that tracks your payroll, that's really what's going to help you to qualify, because now you have a track record. And that's what they're looking for. You know, the lending institutions are looking for that type of documentation. So that's really the key to the success on the PPP.
Got it. Perfect.
Thank you, Harry. And I think that it's important for people to know that they should document it, like you were saying, so that it is forgivable. And if it's not used for the payroll, you can always return it instead of having to pay it back. Or you could use it for other things that are not qualified. However, then you will have to pay that back. So the documentation is extremely important. And then just remind everybody, you can use 25% of the PPP loan for mortgage interest, for rent, for utilities, no more than 25%. But that's also an option to use your PPP loan. And Sal, I think that's it. We don't have any other questions unless the panelists have anything else that they would like to add.
It looks like there aren't any more questions and there aren't any more comments. So with that, we're going to go ahead and conclude our webinar for this week. And thank everybody for having joined us. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. So have yourselves a great weekend, and thank you, panelists, for joining us this week.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
You guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.